Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Ladies and gentlemen, listening to this on the playback. My name is Laverne, and I have a question. Actually, it's a series of questions designed to get you to think a little bit today. And that question is, what's really going on? What's really going on in the world today where we can have people in a park during the celebration for Ramadan, the Eid celebration? Park full of people, neighborhood, school nearby, park. And we have a shootout in broad daylight. How does this happen? What's really going on? What's really going on in the world today where we have people who are willing to take the life of their loved ones, their kids, their spouses, due to whatever you want to insert, mental health issues, whatever, influencer? I don't understand this. What's really going on in the world today where we have wars going on? We're funding these different wars and funding different countries and paying them billions and billions of dollars in money and funding to help them fight a war that, mind you, we have nothing to do with. But yet you have homeless veterans walking around begging for money. And these are some of the men who fought in some of the greatest wars and some of the most deadliest wars in the world. How is this possible? What's really going on in the world today? I'm not understanding this. How is it that we have kids these days that are able to go to schools with weapons that you would find in Call of Duty, and they're able to kill multiple people at one time? Why is anyone able to get into a school to kill multiple people at one time, Uvalde? How does this stuff happen? What's going on in the world today? Where did we go wrong? What is going on where you have so many people that are willing to stick a needle in their arm in broad daylight on a platform in front of people? And apparently this is okay and acceptable behavior because nothing's being done about it. Your kids, your wives, your family members have to be subjected to this mess that's going on. And it seems like nothing's being done. How? Why? Why is it that it looks like we're not doing anything about it? Why does it seem like nothing's being done? We are in a bad, bad state when you have people that just casually commit murder and crimes against humanity, and they just are comfortable with what they've done. Guy walked up to the cops and just told him, "Hey, look, there's a head in my sink." What the heck? How is this possible? How is this okay? Kids wanting to harm their parents, kids wanting to harm their school teachers, their friends, their family. How? Why? What is going on? What are we doing wrong? I don't know, but we got to do something about this. Something needs to be done. I'm not sure what the answer is. I'm not sure where it lies. It sure as hell doesn't lie in our political arena. I mean, look what's going to happen now. Trump versus Biden 2. And I'm sorry, but when you're able to just walk in a Chick-fil-A and buy 50-something milkshakes for people, then yeah, you just won the frickin' election. Yeah, that's bribery. But I digress. What's really going on? Where you just don't care about life anymore. And you feel as though you want to take as many people out of here as possible before you ultimately take yourself out. Coward's way out. Yeah, I said it. It's like, I feel like I went to sleep and woke up. But when I went to sleep, everything was nice and peaceful and everything was calm and cool. And I woke up 4 presidential terms later, and here we are. Terrorism all over the place, pestilence, violence, genocide. I'm not sure what the word is for kids who kill their parents, but it's something side. I forget, but parents killing parents, and this has some type of biblical tie to it. I know because there's war. There's a scripture somewhere in, I think it's Revelations, that talks about wars and rumors of wars, and it talks about the end times, which I thoroughly believe we're in, and we've been in. But you got wars and rumors of wars. You got people who just don't care about life or anyone else's anymore, and it's truly disgustingly sad that we live in a world and in a time where people just have no regard for life or anything anymore. And that bothers me. That really bothers me. How do we just not care? How do we just not give a damn about somebody else, the next man, the next woman, the next child? We got mothers and fathers out here that could care less about taking care of their children, dropping them off at fire stations, dropping them off at hospitals, and in some cases, literally flushing them down a toilet. I'm not understanding any of this. God is not happy. I'm going to say that. And I'm not a religious type. I'm not going to beat people over the head with Bible. My name ain't Geno Jennings. I don't, do all of that. But I got questions, man. I got questions. I got to ask, what is going on in this world today? What did we do wrong? Where did we go wrong? We just don't have no compassion, no morals, no nothing. What the hell, man? My hope, my prayer is that someone hears this, sees this, and starts to ask the same question. You start to ask yourself, why? How? What can we do to fix this? What can I do to fix this? I ask myself that question every day. What can I do to try to make things better in the world? I'm just one person, and I hear people say all the time, oh, you're just one person. Oh, I'm just one person. I can't really do. Guess what, y'all? One person with a voice can make a difference. Good or bad. And in this instance, I'm talking about one person can be the voice of good, like Bernie Sanders. Remember when he came out with all those ideas, and everybody was like, oh yeah, he's cooking. But guess what? Y'all didn't put him in the White House. Trump came out and said all this mess and put us in such a bad state. And people somehow want him back. I don't understand this, y'all. I don't. I need someone to explain this to me. Moreover, I need someone to help figure out how we can get past this, how we can get over this, how we can get through this, and be able to help people. I need someone to help me out here. Help me to understand why, how, where, when, and what we're going to do to fix this situation that's going on in the world today. We are living in a time where kids are more influenced by someone that's halfway around the world in a foreign country in a cave than the pastor of your local church or your local imam or whatever religious leader you want to put. Teachers, doctors, lawyers, pharmacy people, take your pick. These kids are being influenced by people who live halfway around the world instead of being influenced by the people in our own backyard. I remember growing up, and the neighborhood doctor was a person of prestige. He was the man that lived in the neighborhood. Everybody loved him. Everybody respected him. Everybody, he was the man. He was what we all wanted to look up to, that level of success. Now these kids look up to these trappers. These kids nowadays look up to these rappers that's singing about trap music, and these kids are looking up to these people that they want to kill each other. Now it's this whole they're looking up to these rappers and singers that are talking about slut music. Apparently it's now okay and it's cool to be whore and to talk about sex and all this stuff. How? These people are having influence on your kids. I got a son. I got a daughter. And my daughter, I'm so glad she doesn't know what a sexy red is, and I don't want her to know. But I'd be damned if I let that influence my kid, my daughter. My son will not be influenced by these rappers who think it's okay to walk around shooting at people for no reason. This is a problem, ladies and gentlemen, and it needs fixing, and it needs to be fixed immediately. I'm not quite sure what can be done about it, but I know one thing. If something's not done, and something's not done soon, we are in a world of trouble. We are in a world of chaos. If this continues on the way it is, we are going to be in a situation in this country where the children of our future are going to be the biggest detriment to our planet, because we're going to have a bunch of thugs, a bunch of hoodlums. I mean, we're headed that way now. I mean, just look at the news. These people commit murder like they're walking out to go get a newspaper from the store. They're committing crimes like it's just them walking out to a phone booth to go talk on the phone. A lot of these kids today don't even know what a phone booth is, and that's sad. A lot of these kids today don't have basic skills, basic life skills. Do you know how to pay a bill? Do you know how to pay utilities? Do you know how to pay a car note? Do you know how to write a check? Here's my question, and I'm mainly talking about the older kids. Once you reach high school, you should have to take certain classes. You should, and I noticed they took a lot of the stuff out of schools, but once you get a certain to a certain point in life as a teenager. Once you hit high school, you got to start preparing for real life. They need to teach these kids how to start writing checks. They need to teach these kids how to open up accounts before their credit gets ruined. They need to teach these kids about money, investments, and how to manage your money, how to manage this, that, and the third, how to take care of your car, how to take care of your home. We're not teaching that no more. They're basically, and it's not the teacher's fault. It's not their fault, because I know there are a lot of good educators out there. There are some great educators out there. But what we don't have are the administration's ability. How can I put it? We don't have the administration's, basically the backing to bring some of these things back that they took out of the schools that are now proving to be a detriment to these kids. I saw one kid who, he was doing something. He was writing something. And somebody asked him, hey, you know how to write in cursive? He looked at him and was like, what's that? We're not teaching kids to write in cursive. I was writing in cursive at 9. I was writing in cursive at 9. It was mandatory. We had to learn it. So I'm not understanding. It was to the point where we had to write most of our assignments in cursive. And it had to be neat and it had to be legible. I learned how to write my name in cursive at 9 years old. I'm just saying, I don't get it. I don't understand this. I don't think I'm ever going to understand it. But I will say this, we definitely do need to change some things. We need to work on some things. We need to come together and stop being so intent on being separated that we're not taking care of our business. And when I say taking care of our business, taking care of our children, taking care of our families, our wives, our aunts, uncles, moms, dads, nieces, nephews, cousins. We got to take care of them. We got to be there for them. We got to be responsible. Men, step up. We got to step up. How is it that these young men are able to run around here cussing, screaming, spitting, knocking old ladies down, tearing through the city? Let me tell you something. When I was coming up in the city of Philadelphia, there was no way, absolutely no way, we would have ever been caught outside after 9:45. What? When them street lights came on, that was the universal bat signal for every kid to be on their porch by 8 whatever. That was the universal bat signal for every child to be off the street. You wouldn't have dared been outside when them lights came on and your mama be out there looking for you. Oh, God, you knew somebody was getting the high tore off their behind when they got home. Those days were, I wish we could bring them days back, man, where parents were like super hyper vigilant. Now, kids can go sleep over, they can go over your friend's house and nobody cares. They just be in there just chilling and nobody saying nothing. Men, we need to step up. And I'm throwing myself in there. I need to step up and try to help out where I can. But men, we got to step up, whether you got kids or not. If you are over a certain point in life where you can give back, give back. I took my son to a park, local park nearby, and we were out there just playing football, throwing the football around, and a couple young men came over to us, and they wanted to know, hey, look, can he play with us? Sure. I go to turn and walk away because I know what's coming next, and then I heard, excuse me, can you be steady QB? Okay, sure. I didn't really feel up to it because I'm 37 years old with bad ankles, and just knew what was going to happen next. But I tell you something, it was one of the most fun experiences I've had, because I got to be out there with the kids from the neighborhood, and I got to ask them questions, and I got to teach them things about football. And to see my son playing with these young men was very fun to watch, because he got to interact with kids his age. He got to interact with kids from the neighborhood, and he got to see a different side of the neighborhood. He's not from around from where I'm from. So he got to experience other children in their environment, how they act, how they talk, how they interact with each other. And it just really was a fun, cool moment. But one thing that I took away from that is some of those young men don't have a father around. They don't have a male influence around, and it's sad. They were raised primarily by women, and I'm not knocking the women who are handling the job. I commend you. I take my hat off to you, because it takes a lot for a woman to step in the role of mother and father to try to raise these young men, because it ain't easy. But I could clearly tell these young men had no male influence. The only male influences they know are rappers who could care less. Half of them don't live the life that they rapping about. But anyway, these young men were a little out of control. But guess what? I was able to say, hey, let's calm down a little bit. And I could tell my presence to them is something they weren't used to, because I was trying to school them and tell them about life and things like that, And they were asking me questions about things, and I'm like, hey, look, okay, we can talk about it. Give them an open space to express how they feel. And I learned that day that some of these young men don't have father figures in their life. And I felt so bad for them that they don't have that in their lives, man. And it's really, really sad. I just want to, I don't know, take them to a Boys and Girls Club, or not Salvation Army. I don't know if they still have them around, but the PAL Center. When I came up, we had the PAL Center right off 56th Street. And that was a great place for you to go if you wanted to play basketball or hang out. It was a great place because you had off-duty cops that would also volunteer their time. And they would play ball with us. They would take us out places. We go eat, do things like that. They love to be there and to talk with us young men. We got to get back to introducing these kids to a different way, man. I'm sorry. I know I sound like I'm ranting, but that's just on my heart. I'm just asking, what's going on in the world? What's going on in the world? What's going on? Here's another question I have. What's going on with the women? Why is it that so many women feel as though they have to do it by themselves? Why do our women feel like they got to protect themselves? Why are our women feeling like they're unprotected? They have a program out in Philadelphia at Drexel University, and I think Temple does it too, where they have a escort for women. Actually, they have escort for everybody, where a guy on a bike walks with them throughout the campus. If you need an escort, they'll walk with you. Oftentimes we hear about these people who are attacked and sexually assaulted, and it seems like nothing is being done about it. And I'm not understanding. Our women need to be protected. They need to know that they're safe. And I see all the time women getting abused, women getting beat up, women getting assaulted. It's like, why are they not being protected? Women in domestic violence situations. Ain't nobody stepping up and helping to protect these women. Ain't nobody stepping up to help protect these kids from the same situations. What's going on? What is going on today? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I hope that we can do something to make it better. But I'm going to be coming out with more videos. I'm going to ask more questions. I'm going to give my opinion on things, and let's do better. My name's Vern. I'm out.